Hi there, Reject Nation. I'm Greg Alba.
And I'm John Humphrey.
We have a top reward video request from patron and YouTuber Omni Media, Michael B., who just passed 1,000 subscribers.
Congrats!
He has wonderful content. Sincerely mean that. He does a lot of reactions, reviews, discussion videos as well. So I love that he has podcast requests for us because he gives us the opportunity to talk deep about a subject.
To expound upon things.
I've been up since like 6 in the morning today.
Yeah.
I was shooting this in the afternoon, but on the road a lot. From the time I'm shooting this, coming back from Screen Junkies News. So if I seem a little bit out of it, I apologize. Just wanted to clarify that instead of forcing energy.
This video is a time capsule
Yes, it is.
of what today was like.
So his question is, how about your all's feelings on Disney's attitude toward edgy, risky, or off-brand projects after the news about Deadpool possibly being PG-13 and their discomfort with Taika Waititi's JoJo Rabbit? Well, okay. Let's see here. For that whole thing about Deadpool potentially being PG-13, I feel has kind of gotten a little bit thrown out of hand.
I feel like that's been blown out of proportion.
Definitely.
A lot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, David Leitch was just pretty much having a casual conversation in an interview talking about how, Deadpool's rated R. Disney doesn't really do rated R. I feel like it could be PG-13. And then suddenly all these headlines and articles and YouTube videos that
Deadpool's rated G now.
Yeah, Deadpool doesn't need to be rated R, says director David Leitch, and da-da-da-da-da. And I theoretically think I don't think it would be anywhere near as good of a quality of a product if you did Deadpool as, I'm wearing a Deadpool shirt right now. I don't think it would be anywhere near as good of a quality of a project if you did Deadpool as PG-13, obviously.
But you could get creative enough to make it work somehow, because the thing about Deadpool is that there are so few rules you have to conform to that they could find a way to acknowledge it and still, use it for comedy, basically.
I think you can.
That being said,
I would hate that.
That's not what
I would. Honestly, I would hate that. And by no means was David Leitch implying that it's going to be PG-13. And I feel like that's how everyone wants to spin it to get some cool clickbaity, freaking awesome story to try to riff off of, where they talk for 15 minutes about it. And then in terms of Taika Waititi, there was a Disney exec who did come out. I don't remember who it was who said it.
They didn't really name him in the article.
No.
They just said that somebody during some of the early screenings, there was an exec who had like a very audible response and was concerned about, basically it not matching the Disney brand and them not being able to sell it based on that, or turning people off of it, based on that.
Well, of course, JoJo Rabbit isn't.
But it's like a Fox Searchlight movie.
Yeah. And recently, someone at Disney, I think it was Bob Iger, they were, really pretty much shit-talking how Fox has handled their projects as of late.
Oh,
they feel like they've lost so much money from buying them.
They just had their check-in meeting about their stock, I guess, and basically why their projections basically weren't on point. He basically credited to Fox.
Yeah.
And some of the reports basically say that that's part of it, but also, attendance was down at their theme parks. But basically they placed the lion's share of the blame this quarter on Fox. And I find that interesting. I mean, I feel funny that people are freaking out about the JoJo Rabbit thing, just because, I mean, yeah, it is a bit concerning if there is an exec who is sort of like, does this match our brand? I don't know. But the thing about Disney is that they've put out R-rated movies under their other subsidy companies for years and years. So, as long as they don't have to put the castle in front of it, it's a Fox Searchlight film, and that's how it came out, the first trailer, So even though Disney acquired Fox, I don't see what really sets this apart from Miramax or Touchstone or whatever they've owned in the past that's put out R-rated movies,
Yeah, but that was the past, and this is now. And also, in the now, I've, in our lifetime, we haven't seen anything so publicized of such a merger before. So, Miramax and Touchstone, I feel like a lot of people don't even realize Disney owns them. Fox everyone's going to be like, Disney owns them, you know? Like, that's kind of at the forefront, and that's such a big topic of discussion in the cultural zeitgeist at the moment. It's going to be that way for a very long time, I think, especially because Disney is the box office global king. I think Disney makes good movies. They make good movies. I like most of the films I watch from them, and they play it safe. They do. They play it safe. They make I was just at Screen Junkies, and Joe Star calls it strawberry Pop-Tarts. They make strawberry Pop-Tart movies. It's like you know what you're gonna get, and they deliver for the most part.
Or at least they get enough people to come check it out that they make their money back.
It's like risky. They might do in terms of plot, and let's see how audiences will respond to this. Kind of,
but even then, they don't really commit to the risk a lot of the time. I don't think.
I think the fear of this is the fear coming in from the intellectual properties right now that Blade, is that going to be PG-13? Deadpool, are they going to PG-13 that? Projects that are already R-based franchises that they've inherited, Alien, Predator, things of that nature, are those going to be PG-13 now because they don't fall under the Disney brand? If there's a Disney person who's complaining about JoJo Rabbit and doesn't fall under the Disney brand, I'm like, to me, it just sounds stupid. That sounds stupid. Like you know what you inherited. You know what you got. You know what you bought.
You had the whole slate on hand.
Were you just thinking about like X-Men? No, you knew what you were buying.
Well, and in that article too, they flat out say that they just didn't care about Dark Phoenix. And they retooled their marketing campaign to be really low key.
And they're also really. They've got more bashing about the New Mutants too.
I'm fascinated by the whole New Mutants situation, I guess, because what I didn't realize until today is the reshoots haven't happened yet. I just know that they've been talking about them forever and what the purpose of them is, and that is what's really got me curious at the moment.
I think they're just going to shelve that movie. They're not going to. It doesn't seem like they're going to release it anywhere.
That seems like just a waste, though. Like, just to never release it seems like a total waste, because they could still make, then it's just money down a hole, but I feel like you could get some of that back if they held it for Disney Plus or something.
Yeah, I think Hulu is their better. Hulu, I don't think they would do Disney Plus, but I think they would do like Hulu.
But yeah, put it out somewhere. You know?
Yeah, they would benefit from that. I wouldn't be over. I think people are freaking out a little too much, honestly.
I do too.
It's kind of this really hyperactive reaction towards a couple of news stories and whatever, but I think we're gonna see less. I feel like we're gonna see probably less original films, sure, under the Fox umbrella. I think they've already let off a lot of employees, and I think
they canceled most of their development slate too.
Yeah, and what Disney excels in is finding the right movie to franchise, right? That's what they do. So they're gonna want. So if they have, I don't think they're gonna PG-13 Deadpool. I feel
somebody pointed out to me literally just yesterday that above all else, what Disney does is Disney makes money. And I think they're smart enough to know that Deadpool is going to make its money being the most Deadpool it can be. They know how to cater to fans and use that as a tool to make money. So I feel like it would be a misstep that they could easily see coming to make Deadpool PG-13.
It's already $1 billion franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just change
that. And it changed the superhero game, which they changed by having Marvel, so it's like they have to take a cue from there.
Yeah. This attitude. Specifically, we were talking about Michael B. This attitude towards edgy, riskier, off-brand projects. Well, they're gonna try to. I brought up at the beginning of this discussion that they're aware that eyes are on them of how they're gonna handle the Fox properties, and this whole R-rated talk is definitely something they're aware of as well. So I highly, highly doubt they're going to do anything to actually just completely swing the other way and PG-13 the shit out of stuff. I think in terms of risky original films, that's more where my concern goes. I think that element will be diluted. Fox has been experimental, even with some films that are set to release from Fox that are not franchise-based properties. You got what's the
Ad Astra.
Ad Astra. No, I was thinking about the Christian Bale one, the racing one with Matt Damon.
Yeah. The one
Ford v Ferrari.
Yeah.
So you have that movie as well. Ad Astra is a good example too. It was Annihilation wasn't Fox, was they? But movies like Annihilation are not going to be made anymore.
No.
I think Fox Searchlight is at risk of being shut down too. They already shut down one. There was some subsidiary company they shut down, but I think Fox Searchlight is going to be at risk of being shut down.
I think that would be a pretty gross mistake because Fox Searchlight seems to be about the most consistent thing Fox has. And it consistently each year brings both awards contenders and things that are, at least a couple things that grab. Like, I'm just been shocked this week that Ready or Not's not even out yet, but the reviews have been great. So they're able to dish something like that out, and we'll see how that does. But
at the end of the day, it's box office, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially
but
with
they
Disney.
make Wes Anderson, and he's an institution. Like they make Guillermo del Toro, he's an institution. He's not maybe always the biggest financial success when he's given the gigantic budget, but I mean, Shape of Water just won 1 billion Academy Awards.
Yeah, but for every film that Fox Searchlight puts out, how many of those films garner that kind of attention box office wise is pretty much my point here. Like if everything that's come out that sounds like sort of negative from the Disney side talking about Fox has been about loss of money.
Oh yeah.
So I do think from a creator artist standpoint, yeah, that's a super big bummer if they were to lose Fox Searchlight. I think that's a really big bummer. I just don't see why after investing billions upon billions of dollars and feeling like they already lost more money, they're not going to hone in on properties that are not guaranteed to be these juggernaut hits. Of like, if you look at the top 10 worldwide of this year already, they've had like 5 or 6 films cross $1 billion. This is the kind of game they're interested in playing.
Well, yeah, but I don't. At the same time, I don't know if that's it. Then I feel like what's scarier and what they would be smarter to do is then go in and maybe refocus Fox Searchlight or retool it to be more in their wheel, because they still do Disney nature. They still. It doesn't seem like they just absolutely don't care about anything that can't be a big strawberry Pop-Tart, but yeah, I mean, if it so happens that that Fox Searchlight like hemorrhages money or something like that, like that's why I would be worried for them, but they seem to be the most, I don't know, there's just something about their business and their like quality of output that seems to be the most consistent thing coming over from Fox, because their franchises aren't cutting it. And they named a couple other departments in that report that weren't, satisfactory or whatever. I don't know. I feel like just to lose it would just be kind of weird and random. Like there's such an opportunity to turn it into something.
What was the other one they lost? Fox 2000 was the company that produced Hidden Figures, which in recent years has given us the most well-known names I can think of. The Hate U Give.
Love
Simon, which was pretty popular.
The Road Chip.
Hidden Figures, of course.
Yeah.
The movie Joy.
David O. Russell.
With Jennifer Lawrence, David O. Russell, Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Chip. Yeah.
Paper Towns.
Bridge of Spies, the Spielberg film. These have like pretty big attached directors and pretty big attached stars in here too. Mm-hmm. So for them to shut down that department, I think actually does say a lot. I wouldn't be. See, I basically wouldn't be so concerned about your properties that you want to stay R-rated being R-rated. I don't think you have to really worry about that.
Especially ones that are already a success like Deadpool.
Yeah, I mean, there's questionable elements about like I don't know how you could possibly make a Predator and Alien movie without it being PG-13, without it being rated R. But,
I've got some sequels to recommend you.
Yeah.
We've seen how that goes, and arguably the taste test has shown that those need to stay, if we're going to keep dredging them R-rated, they need to maintain a certain level of menace. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like, again, the solution to all of this could just be to maybe rework what Fox is within Disney and put those movies out under that banner. Don't put the castle in front of it. Because do all the Marvel movies, do they run with the Disney bumper or just the Marvel? Yeah, it's like nowadays we just see the Marvel bumper, and I feel like in that aspect too, you could see R-rated Blade or something, maybe,
Well,
if Marvel's willing to go there.
Well, I think Fox working within Disney is supposed to be just another, subsidiary company within there, the way Fox Searchlight is within Fox.
Yeah.
But then also Fox, with like the way Miramax and Touchstone were treated, doing the similar thing.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're gonna really dial back a lot more of the films they have been producing.
Oh, of
Either
course,
way,
yeah.
I don't think they will. I don't
gonna-
think they'll put the Disney bumper in front of every one of those films. They're still going to be treated as Fox films, but I think there's going to be certain films where they're going to want to put that Disney bumper there.
Oh yeah, I feel like they'll. Well, yeah, it's like they'll have probably a different relationship with the projects that get brought in and their say over those, and also it'll probably continue the contribution to the death of the mid-range, $30 to $60 million film, because I
Yeah.
feel like that's also something that maybe is kind of going away with Fox 2000. At least I don't know what the budgets on all those movies were, but they all seem like kind of mid-budget movies. And it seems like in the film industry today, what everybody's gravitating towards is either your Blumhouse making something for $5 million and hoping it makes $200 million, or you're doing gigantic things that people have to see in the theaters. And so that's what basically worries me the most for Fox, is are they just going to make it a different version of our blockbusters and the occasional indie films wing, or are they going to actually keep what Fox's sensibilities were about,
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like every film will ultimately go down as this under Disney. Like, if someone walks out of JoJo Rabbit screening who works within Disney and says that, like, that's kind of a dumb analysis to make, I think. At the same time, there's like a billion people who are making these decisions at Disney and Fox. There's so many heads we don't hear from, and there's a lot more people involved there's the people crunching the numbers. There are people making business decisions, and there's such a large team, and we haven't even heard of half of the people's names, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and half of them are in merchandising.
pretty much. Yeah. So I think the smart move to do is they should have the thing that keeps making them the money they need to make, and then also have the things that where they can experiment. My worry is that they'll lose the experimental stuff. My worry is that they'll lose a lot more of being willing to do edgier stuff like JoJo Rabbit, willing to tackle on subjects such as that.
Satire especially is a tricky thing, and I find that interesting that it's that movie that got that particular response from an exec, because then that makes you wonder, is this just somebody revealing their lack of understanding for satire? And like, that's something important to at least cultivate in the marketplace, and that's not a hugely serviced genre right now. And so like, that is kind of scary. You wonder if that's just one random exec out of a whole room full of people who kind of got it, or if that's the flavor in the Disney culture that is clashing with the Fox culture.
Well, they didn't even name that guy, did they?
No, they just said one executive was audibly...
We don't even know if it's true.
Yeah, exactly. It just said one guy, random person, had a reaction.
I think just wait and see. I feel like they pay attention to what everyone's concern is, and they, like, look at how Disney runs their properties now that we're aware of. Like, just whenever there's a concern about something, they make changes. That's the way they do it.
Well, and in the back of the cynical voice in the back of my head almost wonders if that's just better marketing for JoJo Rabbit. Because that just makes people want to see stuff more. Outrage.
The social media voice is the focus group. You know, more than test screenings and all that.
They're aware.
They've always had focus groups, and now the social media voice is the focus group, and they know most people are not going to be happy if they stop, if they take R-rated properties, PG-13 them up, or completely dial back on original content. Not everything can just be franchise based. I'm sure they primarily look at numbers, but they also know the value in mixing things up. Yeah. So mix things up.
And the way that a good film can make money for being a good film.
True. All right, guys. Well, what's your take on this subject? Leave a comment down below. You guys can subscribe to The Real Rejects, click that notification bell, and make sure to check out Michael B's YouTube channel as soon as you can, because he's actually been on this channel before, and he's just a very friendly guy, very nice guy, very intellectual
thoughtful,
and knowledgeable dude. I think you'd really love him. Seriously, go check him out.
Give him
Thank
a
you,
cuddle.
guys.